Welcome back to the channel. Well, on this rainy day like this, what else am I going to do? Make a video about my Mac. My new Mac. It's not really new. Let's talk about it. So this computer right here is a mid-2010 iMac 21.5-inch model. It's got the Intel Core i5 3.6 gigahertz processor. It currently has 8 gigs of RAM. I'm going to be upgrading that to 16 because unlike today's 21.5-inch iMac, this one has a little door on the bottom. You can upgrade the RAM yourself. The only iMac you can do that on today, the new ones, is the 27-inch model, unfortunately. So if you buy the new 21.5, make sure you get enough RAM to last. It also has, let's look it up here, it has the ATI Radeon HD 5670 graphics card with 512 megabytes of memory on that. So, to be almost an 8-year-old computer, it's got pretty decent specs for nowadays. The only real downside to it is it does have an actual hard drive. No solid state of any sort. But it is a 7200 RPM hard drive, which I may switch that out for an SSD eventually, but for now it's doing okay. Other than that, the only other real hurdle or crippling factor, but it's not really a crippling factor, is the graphics card. It could be a little bit better, but for 2010, this was pretty much a spec'd out machine from what I can tell. The hard drive, I mentioned the hard drive, it is a 2 terabyte hard drive, original from the factory. And I have upgraded it to Mac OS High Sierra. So it's running the latest operating system. When I got it, it had El Capitan on it. It seemed to run okay with it. And I thought, why not? We'll just upgrade it, see how High Sierra does. Now as far as components, it has a Magic Keyboard, wireless, uses Bluetooth, and the Magic Trackpad. I'm really liking this trackpad. For me, mainly a laptop user, I really like the trackpad and the gestures and all the touch interface stuff you can do with it. The one thing here, it has been many number of years since I've used an Apple computer. The last time I used any sort of Apple desktop, never really used a laptop. Last time I used a desktop was this model right here. Yes, that one. So it's been a while. Now my main workhorse laptop for editing these days with Premiere Pro is this right here. It's the Dell XPS 15 9560 model, 2017. This thing is a beast. Has 7th gen Core i7 processor. I think it's a GTX 1050 with 4 gigs of RAM on the graphics card. And it's got a 512 gigabyte SSD. I'm thinking high school days. That's why I said megabyte. So this thing here is pretty spec'd out. 16 gigs of RAM. I may upgrade that to 32 eventually, but for right now 16's working okay with it. So why did I get a Mac? Well, first and foremost, the Mac OS has always intrigued me because it is a Unix-based system. So there are advantages to that over Windows. I'm not going to go into detail about that here. If you want those details, they're out there. But for the purposes of this video, we're just talking about the basics on it. Now so far, I've really only used it for editing a couple videos, which compared to the Dell over here, it really surprised me how fast it will render in Premiere Pro. Now I've got a 30-day free trial of Final Cut, and I've played around with it a little bit. For me personally, Premiere was a whole lot more intuitive than I'm finding Final Cut to be. I don't know if it's just because I've been used to Premiere for so long now, but Final Cut, I'm still playing around with it. I do like the fact that you can just buy it. $2.99, buy it once, own it forever. If you're a Premiere user or any Adobe product, you're most likely familiar with the subscription program. Since I have Premiere, it's like $21.99 a month, and you do get the updates and all that, but still, it would be nice to just be able to pay one lump sum and own it. So the video I edited in Premiere on the iMac the other day took about 20-25 minutes to render. On the Dell here, it would have taken about 4 to 5. So big difference, but not quite as big a difference as what this would have been compared to my old HP laptop that was a newer model than this Mac here, but not quite as good a specs. So this is just kind of an introductory video. I'm going to be using this primarily when I'm here at the house for the next few weeks and learning more about it, and then I will report back with another video about how this PC user learned how to use a Mac and any advantages, disadvantages I see. So far, I'm finding everything pretty okay with it, which is kind of bad news because now I want a newer one, but they're expensive. Maybe one of these days. But what this one does show me is that they do last for a long time. Thanks for watching.